On the northeastern shore of Lake Michigan sits Thorne Swift Nature Preserve, a 30-acre plot of land where nature thrives. Though it is only 30 acres, this property boasts all types of northern Michigan habitats, including cedar swamps, mixed forests, open deciduous woods, wet meadows and cattail marshes, a shallow frog pond, sand dunes, and of course, a pristine sandy beach. It is one of Emmett County's most picturesque natural areas and a superb birding hotspot. Best of all, it is only a 5 to 10 minute drive from the quaint lakefront town of Harbor Springs. I've had the pleasure of spending multiple summers working on this preserve, so I know it and all of the birds there very well. Thorne Swift Nature Preserve is seasonal and is open from mid-April to mid-November. There are 3 short trails, of which the outer 2, named the Cedar Trail and the Balsam Trail, connect to form a 3/4 mile loop. The beach trail cuts down the center and is only a 1/4 mile long. Before starting down the trails, though, it is worth taking a moment to enjoy the gardens by the parking lot. The resident managers have planted a wide array of flowers which provide food for a number of insects as well as ruby-throated hummingbirds. There are also bird feeders, which, in addition to eastern North America's common feeder birds, draw the attention of a local flock of wild turkeys. These turkeys are used to visitors and are usually very photogenic. However, it is always best to keep your distance to ensure you don't alarm the birds. In the spring, this nature preserve is a hotspot for migrating birds. The shoreline provides ample habitat for several migrating shorebirds. One evening in late May produced a mixed flock containing semi-palmated sandpiper, a sanderling, and semi-palmated plovers. Several species of ducks may be seen here during the migration seasons as well. Colorful male wood ducks, whenever they turn up at the pond, are always a highlight. The preserve is also home to a breeding pair of red-breasted mergansers, which can often be seen resting on one of the large rocks offshore. However, the majority of spring migrants that move through the preserve are best observed among the trees. Woodlands along the shores of the Great Lakes are often hot spots for migrating warblers. Warblers, along with most other songbirds, migrate at night, so when the sun comes up and a small songbird finds itself 2,000 feet above a body of water, it will want to get to land fast. Thorne Swift's diverse mixed woodlands and its position on the lakeshore make it a prime spot for seeing migrating warblers. However, warblers aren't only a spectacle for the migration seasons. At least 7 species of warblers are known to breed here. Among them are the black and white, black-throated green, Nashville, northern water thrush, American redstart, common yellowthroat, and northern parula. Some years, we've also had Magnolia Warblers, and always a highlight, the Canada Warbler. I've met birders who have come here from places like St. Louis, Atlanta, and even just the southern part of Michigan, who have said that coming here during the summer is a good opportunity to see several warblers that don't breed farther south. Another highlight among our breeding birds is the red-headed woodpecker. While people from farther south may be used to seeing this bird more often, this is a highlight for us northerners. This species hasn't been consistently breeding on the preserve every year, but they are becoming more common throughout northern Michigan since it was delisted from the threatened species list in 2018. In 2020, I was lucky enough to film a pair of red-headed woodpeckers here in a nest cavity in a snag above the Cattail Marsh. These woodpeckers love oak trees and prefer more open woodlands with dead standing trees for nesting. This part of the preserve, as small as it is, checks all of those boxes for the red-headed woodpecker. Finally, if you're into observing larger birds, keep your eyes peeled for a couple of breeding hawks, the sharp-shinned hawk and the red-shouldered hawk. However, being hawks that favor wooded areas, you're usually more likely to hear their loud screeching calls than you are to see them. Later in the summer, as the breeding bird season wanes and the songbirds start to become quiet, a different kind of activity picks up. Plants all around the preserve grow to impressive heights, which ushers in a wave of pollinators. One of the most famous is that of the monarch, the iconic large orange and black butterfly species that has, as of last summer, been classified as an endangered species. For years, the staff at Thorne Swift have been doing all they can to actively protect the monarch. We monitor for the arrival of monarchs in the summer and watch for activity around milkweed plants. Female monarchs will lay eggs singly on the underside of milkweed leaves, although I filmed this one breaking with tradition and laying an egg on the wrong side. After about 3 days, the eggs hatch and very tiny caterpillars emerge. We check daily for monarch eggs and caterpillars, and when we find one, we remove the entire leaf from the plant and place it in a protected container with air holes. Only 1 in 100 monarch eggs will survive to become adult butterflies in the wild, so it is essential that we move as many as possible into this container to help their population improve. As the caterpillars grow, they require more milkweed leaves to sustain them, so every day is a mission to gather fresh, moist leaves. When the caterpillars get very large, they get moved to this tank. Here, they will complete their transformation into becoming an adult butterfly. At the frog pond, activity among green frogs also peaks during the summer months. Many males can be observed vocalizing and competing for a chance to mate with a female. And if you're lucky, you may get to watch a female lay hundreds of tiny eggs. At the end of the summer, fall migrants begin trickling in and bird activity on the preserve increases once again. At the front of the preserve, a large Norway spruce provides ample temporary habitat for migrating Cape May warblers. Some migratory warblers show little fear of people when they are migrating, as they seem more focused on eating enough food to sustain them on the next leg of their journey. I was able to capture these close photos on one day in August. In addition to the Cape May warbler, olive-sided and yellow-bellied flycatchers making their way down from the boreal forest stop here. Even birds that seem out of place in this habitat, such as the yellow-throated vireo, have made an appearance here. Finally, shorebird migration is usually unpredictable, but there is one migratory shorebird that is a reliable visitor every year, and it doesn't even prefer the shore. This is the solitary sandpiper. Unlike most shorebirds, the solitary sandpiper breeds in the boreal forest, and as a result, it is quite comfortable in small forested ponds like the one here. Starting in July and continuing through August, it is always possible to see one of these birds at the pond. No matter when in the season you arrive, the sunset can always be enjoyed. Everywhere along lower Michigan's western shoreline, people flock to watch the sunset over the blue horizon. Thorne Swift offers a unique sunset, one that lets you be at peace with nature, virtually free from people. The beach and the dune observation platform both offer perfect vantage points. The height of the waves, the clouds in the sky, and the ambience of the wildlife around you are always changing. So no two sunsets here are ever exactly the same. The number of visitors that arrive at Thorne Swift every year has been increasing, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic, which pushed people to enjoy the outdoors more than ever before. While many who stop by this preserve are merely summer tourists who are not necessarily birders, the number of people who still choose to spend part of a day at this beautiful preserve is proof of how ecotourism and interest in reconnecting with the natural world is growing. Thanks for watching, and keep birding.